about to have a conversation with Erastus. Asare Donkor is the assisting news editor at Love FM, producer of Destruction for Gold, which is a hotline, oh goodness, hotline documentary. I will also be speaking to Ken Ashigbey, convener of Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Now, Erastus has been working on an update on the Galamsey situation. He's gone around to all the places where Galamsey was happening before we were told that the matter is being taken, into hand. He's gone back to see whether indeed the matter has been taken into hand, whether leaders have done anything about this problem. And the outcomes will shock you. He'll tell us about them in a moment. But first, we have an exclusive sneak peek, excerpts from his upcoming work, Destruction for Gold. Enjoy.
Love News in 2022 captured Akunta Mining Limited and other illegal miners polluting the Tano River at Asare in the western region. We uncovered irresponsible mining polluting the Tano at various points in communities like Atala, Uhiampenika and Datano sections of the river. A year after producing the Destruction for Gold documentary, we went back to Asare to gauge the situation on the ground. The miners have abandoned posts and left behind deep pits and gullies they created along the Tano River. Ofosu Asare Samuel is the assembly member for the Mumuni electoral area.
After your last documentary, those that they were in operation, they left the community or they left the site. They are no more here or destroying the land.
But our tour of the adjoining villages along the Tano revealed disturbing pictures of direct active mining in the Tano River with residues directed into the Tano. Shamfan operators and illegal miners currently sit on the river at various points. These Chinese miners were spotted at Boya, a farming community, driving the excavators and operating the mine themselves, contrary to mining regulations.
This is purely illegal. There is no buffer between the Tano River and what they are doing. And if you see in the distance, there's a washing bay sitting at the edge of the tunnel, washing directly into the river. This is purely criminal.
Close to the airstrip at Asare, these two Chinese nationals were found operating this mine, which seems to be violating the government's buffer zone policy for mining close to major water bodies like the Tano River. They claimed the site belongs to Akunta Mining Limited.
You go drop me Bojo.
This side, Akunta people.
Yeah.
But we were not able to independently verify this. Officials of Akunta Mining will not respond to the claims. The devastated Atala, Uhiampenika and Datano lands fall into the concession of Unipar Mining Company Limited. But even before Unipar could complete its licensing processes to start mining, large parts of its concession have been invaded by illegal miners. David Thompson is Corporate Affairs Manager.
Whilst we acquired it over a period of time, illegal miners started to come onto the concession. We tried to engage them in a cordial manner to try and say, hey gentlemen, this is illegal mining. We didn't really get too far in that negotiation. Therefore, we informed the Mineral Commission. So we engaged the military to remove them. They were removed, and then subsequently, they started to come back again.
David speaks of the dangers of mining in the River Tano, calling for urgent steps to control the practice.
Any activity on any of the rivers, straight away, it's like, surely, people, please, this is going nowhere for you. You're going to make a quick buck. How long is it going to last? But the decimation, the catastrophe that you're leaving behind is shocking. The poisons, the colors of the water, the local indigenous people who wash their clothes from that river, who are drinking and using to cook their food from that river. I mean, it's a travesty. And I really believe that should stop an awful lot of the illegal mining on the rivers immediately.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus, Asare Donkor, Atala, Ohiam Pernica, Samraboy, Western Region.
Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Erastus joins us now. Also, Ken Ashigbey is with us. He's the convener for the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Erastus, of course, as you know, is the assistant news editor at Love FM. He's the producer of Destruction for Gold, excerpts of which you just heard. Erastus.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, thanks for doing this again. But look, the headline is the thing is worse. I mean, how? Was nothing at all done by those who promised to take control of the situation?
Well, I will say that nothing really exceptional was done by anybody. And normally when they hear the reports on TV, they get out of the villages. In this particular sense, at Samraboy, the Unipower company engaged some security forces to drive them out of the areas we visited. And so those areas lie fallow at the moment, but just that you see the deep pits that we showed still there. They were uncovered. Nothing. And it doesn't surprise me because in those areas, when they dig the pits, they leave them and they don't cover them. But then we are saying that nothing exceptional was done because there are more mining activities we found in adjoining villages. So I can talk about Boya and Bena, which is close to Hiampenica and the rest, within the Samraboy enclave. And you find Chinese miners. The law frowns on foreigners engaging in mining activities, small scale, in there. But you find Chinese miners this time around controlling affairs, sitting in the excavators and driving the activity by themselves. And so this particular mining site we found at Boya, the washing bay, the alluvial washing bay, that metal is sitting at the edge of the tunnel and is intentional because it has been made in such a way that whatever residue that is flowing, they are washing, will go into the tunnel river.
Wow.
And to me, that is criminal. That is wickedness, cruelty. Because they know very well what they are washing is poison, but they directed it straight into the tunnel. And these are Chinese miners we found in there, as you see in the footage. So we went to, there's an airstrip in Samraboy, which is closer to town. And we went on the edge of the airstrip, you find another Chinese team. These two miners, they control the mine over there. They are also mining along the Tunnel River. And when I asked them, there was this guy who we met. He is a Ghanaian, and he's the security man in charge of the site. I asked him, who owns the site? He says, Akonta Mining. I said, are you sure? He said, yes. I asked the Chinese people on camera, and they said the same thing. But we tried to confirm with Akonta Mining. We went over there. We tried to talk to them. We stood there for like 30 minutes. This man will come out. He says the PRO is not around. He says the manager is not around. So who is next in charge? We want to speak to them about that mine over there. They say it belongs to you. He said they are not around. So come later. We left our number there so that if they come, they should call us for that interview. We spent 3 days in the town. Nobody called. We called. Nobody picked. So we came back. Kojo, what I'm saying is that we are now seeing more murky, dirtier, polluted waters than we first saw in 2022. Prisia, Bogoso, under the bridge, last year, it was flowing. It wasn't as dirty as we saw it this time around. Now, this time around, the river under the Pristia Bridge, the Bogoso Bridge, is thicker. You could see it's almost turned into mud. That's the Ankobra. And you see Champagne operators sitting on almost every 300 meters. You see Champagne gathered on the river itself.
Wow.
Mining in the middle of the river. We fetched samples, and I think after the documentary, when we are done, we'll be able to test them. This time around, we are testing them to find out what is in there. And we'll be able to produce a strong data to back this case.
Indeed.
We went to Ankobra.
Yeah.
At the estuary. You see how the Ankobra is polluting the sea. And it discounts those images that, the deputy minister brought up to say that the river has cleaned itself, or the mining, the government anti-Galamsey mining is getting better. No, we spent 4 hours on the Ankobra River, running through villages like Banso, Dominase, Douale, and Wolenzo, all the way to Axim. And you see Champagne sitting in the middle of such a huge, large river, mining with impunity. The forest we are talking about, Kojo, you remember Akonta mining invaded the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve.
Yeah.
When we talked about it, we presented evidence. Nothing was done. Now it has emboldened young men in the area. When we went this second time, I tell you, what we saw there, when we finished the documentary, is shocking. We have over 500 young men in the Tano Nimre Forest. This time, they are not using excavators. They are using pickers, mattock, and shovels. And Kojo, I was shocked that those simple tools can fall a tree any size. They dig beneath the tree for days. The guy we interviewed told me they dig for 5 days. And the tree is down. We saw Dangoma, we saw Udum, and other rare tree species felled with reckless abandon. They are not harvesting them. That is not their motive. They are in there to eat deep into the forest. And the rate at which they are eating deep into the Tano Nimre forest, I don't think by the end of this year we'll have any forest left. So if you ask me, we are still going on the ground from Chifu Praso, the Pra River. If you look at how dirty it is now, and you see the number of excavators sitting on the Chifu Praso forest area directly mining in the river, it will shock you. Now we are seeing more champagnes. Now the issue is about champagnes. They are deploying more champagnes into the rivers and polluting it because they feel that these days it's easy to buy the champagne. They approach people, and this time around we've been speaking with those who are polluting the rivers, the illegal miners, and they've been talking to us, sharing their views. And they tell us that, well, we don't have the jobs, so the big people mine in the reserve forest and nothing happens. So why can't we also destroy the rest of the river and get our money?
Wow.
And so now they are sitting they approach the people in the society, chiefs. We found chiefs who are sponsoring champagne activities. They'll buy it for the young people, and then you are supposed to pay in 2 weeks. So you sit on the river and you do that pollution for 2 weeks, and then you go and pay for the champagne machine, and the machine is yours. So now you can take it anywhere and mine on a river.
Wow.
And that is what is happening across Western region, Ashanti region. We are yet to visit the Eastern region.
Let me bring in Ken Ashigbey. Now, Ken has been a loud voice in the campaign against illegal mining as the convener of the media coalition against Galamsey. Ken, I mean, honestly, after hearing Erastus, more people are doing Galamsey now than before. They are doing it at a higher intensity. There is even more impunity, less fear of consequence. They are polluting the rivers even more. The water bodies are more polluted than before. After all the talk, after all the promises of leadership to get this problem solved, hearing that it is worse. I mean, Ken, how do you feel like we've wasted our time? Do you feel like this has been futile?
I think that those who are doing this, perpetuating this ecological terrorism on us, want us to feel like that. They want us to despair. But you see, for Joy FM listeners, you are listening to this documentary. I had the opportunity of watching it yesterday when we were on PM Express. Your heart will sink. The level of destruction, if you look at what is being done on the tunnel itself. And this is a country that has deployed over 100 drones. This is a country that has regional ministers in charge. This is a country that has a minister for lands and natural resources, a minister for environment, the forestry commission. You have DCs, MCs, who are the chairpersons of the district mining committee, who are the chairpersons of the district security committee. So the evidence on the ground shows that we are leaderless so far as this particular fight is concerned. And there are two things here. It is either our leaders are complicit or they are incompetent. In both ways, they are not deserving, of leading us. This issue of Akonta mining, the IGP has referred the matter to the Director General CID. We are yet to read. The IGP wrote back to us, but the Director General CID is yet to respond to us. So are you surprised that the level of impunity would increase when they see that people who do this damage, even when the Minister for Lands mentioned them out, are not, being dealt with? Are you surprised that now they would move with mattocks and pickaxes and shovels into the forest? They see that the people who matter do it and nobody touches them. Are you surprised that's going to happen? What has happened to the MCE for Busimiri, the former MCE for Busimiri? All we have heard is that maybe he's been dismissed. If you look at the mining and whatever act, do you see dismissed as the punishment for engaging in an illegality? So I flew from Takrady to Accra. And so what Erastus was talking about, the Ankobra polluting the sea, as you fly in, you see how far into the sea. And I think I have some videos of it. You see how far the sea is brown. The sea is brown. Before you get to the estuary, the color of the sea is not like that. So it just tells you that all of that intentional pollution is getting into the sea. On earth, is it that now you have Erastus, who is just a journalist, is able to see Chinese people who now are actively involved in the destruction of our land, and then you have the immigration, you have national security in these communities. So what security briefing is the regional minister getting? What security briefing are they giving to the president himself? And nothing is happening. The situation is getting worse. It is hard because you have some small-scale miners who are doing some great jobs. You go into the eastern region, for example, they are beginning to police the Brim River, and we're beginning to see, results in there. So there are people doing good things, and most of these people are Ghanaians doing this. They're reclaiming the land, and then you see this impunity and this recklessness happening and destroying our land. I don't know whether you've seen the pictures of, the octopus babies that have been born in some of these communities. And it's not one, it's not two, it's not three, it's not four. There are a lot of them that are happening. The damage that we are doing to ourselves as a country, we all need to wake up and look at what is happening and say that this cannot happen. Yesterday on PM Express, the ranking member for forestry and Dr. Paul was talking about something that the Minerals Commission needs to come and answer, about some leases that have been given along and across river bodies. And we need to start asking ourselves, should we be mining everywhere? Our forest cover is going up. We have a few days to the Green Ghana Days. Why should we be struggling in planting new trees when we can't preserve the old trees? Look at what is happening in the forest that Erastus talked about. The trees are going, trees that are old. You have a forestry companies there that have helped in planting trees. All of this are being plundered. And you ask yourself, where is the MP also in this? What are we doing to ourselves? And I think as Ghanaians, because where we have gotten to go, we need to start letting the local communities do the relationship between the damage that is being done and what is happening to their lives. So we can get them start revolting from the ground. You know, the politicians, the only thing they think about is not the next generation. All they think about is the next election. So if you have the masses now beginning to see, I think the time has come where we should have billboards planted in these communities where we paste the pictures of people who have lost babies or babies that have been born, so that we can use shock and awe for the people, so that the people themselves can rise up against these people. Because sometimes some of these things that happen, a lot of the people who are engaged in that are not even natives of those communities. You have the situation in the Wasa, the Goldfields place. That attack that was done was led by not Chinese, you know, foreigners from other countries. They led those attacks. It was not even the local people. And so the local people need to start seeing it. And I think the next phase also is that we are going to the IMF and asking for, 3 billion? Whilst we are losing how many billions in gold from our country and the cost of even going to restore this land. So maybe we should start writing to the IMF and the World Bank. They should start demanding from our leaders that before you get the next tranche of 600 million cedis, show to us that you are actually serious in the way you are governing so far as your natural resources are concerned. So I think we need to start changing our strategy. And I think even as the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, we need to now move to the next step, where we will now start taking legal actions against those who have done it and people don't want to deal with them. People like the directors of Akonta Mining, people like Heritage Imperial, who were given prospecting licenses and took 25 excavators in and destroyed. People like, the DCE or MCE for the tunnel place where Erastus did this work, who are not doing their work. We need to start taking them to court and at least suing them. Maybe that's the point we've gotten to. So we need support from lawyers who can help us, who have Ghana at heart, who can help us take on this particular crusade. Because just talking about it, reporting, how many times haven't we done this? But the impunity continues.
So, Ken, I'm wondering how far-reaching, or let me ask this question first. What can we do differently? Everything you've said so far, these are things that we have been pushing for since the beginning of this Galamsey fight. The accountability, the prosecutions, the activism in communities, causing people to rise up. These are the things we've been pushing for from the beginning. They are not happening. Galamsey is getting worse. What can we do differently?
So that's why I don't think we have written any petitions to the World Bank, the IMF, and all of these so-called development partners.
Right.
To tell them that, if they are supposed to be supporting us, as a country, we are not even sustainable. The rate at which we are going in the destruction that we are doing to our land. So they need to start looking at that. I'm not too sure. We have not done the legal work yet. So maybe we need to start also going in and start suing people who are supposed to work, who are not working. I am not too sure we've pushed a lot of letting the people, because they sit in these communities and they think that, okay, because we're getting, some money every day, so it is fine for us to do it. I think that is where this collaboration that they are calling MAP, media, academia partnership would come in, where we need to do a lot more work, so that we can demonstrate to these people that the net result is not just negative, it's deeper than negative, if there's anything like that. And I think that a PR campaign, local PR campaigns in those communities, because if you do that, and you can get people rising up, a lot of these cocoa farmers who are losing their farms and all of that, they are quiet and they seem to be in the minority. Yeah. But if you're able to help them with a voice, and they come out, and we can run some campaigns in there for them to see that this is the damage we're doing to ourselves, then we will be able to start acting. There's a story I'm going to be following up. There's supposed to be one chief who is on the Council of State, who is actually supposed to be funding some Galamsey happening in some forest reserve. I'm definitely going to arrest Erastus and a few other people so that we can start exposing some of these people. We need not just Erastus. We need a lot more journalists also doing a lot more investigative work. We need a lot of that. But you see, sometimes the level of lack of accountability in this country is really shocking and it's really surprising that we show these things. We mention names. You have Professor Baku respond to a letter that was written to him, give a report, and nothing is happening. Sometimes, Kojo, then I tell the first question you ask tends to be worrying that it's as if, we're losing it and we're normalizing it. Because ask yourself, how is it that the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources would name somebody who's involved in an illegality? We have a government that has also passed, a sanction regime that is more tougher. And as from now, nothing has happened to that particular person. And another thing that's happening, you see how the Anglo Gold mines were invaded? Yeah. You see in even that documentary, another licensed miner, they have gone to his territory. You see what happened in the Wassa Goldfields place. We are emboldening these people. They are getting armed and all of that. Very soon, some pockets of this country would become ungovernable. Ungovernable. What is happening in the north is even scary because now we are getting a lot of cyanide come in from Burkina Faso. And you know how poisonous cyanide is. Yeah. But they are coming into this country and we're putting them in the hands of people who know nothing about how to protect even themselves. Even themselves. So, and when you get up to the north, they are not doing a lot of the alluvial, though they do some of it. A lot of them is deep mining. So you will find that they are building, mines that are not secure. The lives that we are going to get lost, apart from the cyanide pollution that we're going to see, it's even going to get worse. So I think the time has come for all of us to stop just the talk and start walking the talk. Because in terms of policies, in terms of regulations, we have all of them. Currently now, excavators are weapons of mass destruction. So it should not be only that if you say you are going to use the excavator for mining that it should be tracked. Every excavator in this country now should be tracked, should be geofenced, and we should treat them that before you want to use them. The same way we'll license, a Scud missile. That is the same way we should license all of these heavy moving, equipment. The issues about drones. Because if you have drone footage, and, nobody should be telling somebody, Erastus will not have to go there to go and find this out. Somebody should be doing something.
Right. Of course, if anyone just joined us, we're talking about Galamsey. The headline is, it's getting worse. Erastus Asare Donkor's latest work proves that. We're talking to Erastus and Ken. We're going to wrap up. And Ken, there's one last thing I want to ask you. Leadership is cause, everything else is effect. The president said he will put his presidency on the line. Today, 7 years into his presidency, Galamsey is worse. The last time he talked about one of his own people who has been named as the owner of a company that is involved in illegal mining, Akonta mining. His response was that Akonta mining is not currently in the forest reserves. How do you assess the president and his leadership in this fight against Galamsey?
I will leave that to you. Yeah, you just said it. So I'll leave that to you and to generations to judge. Because for me, at the end of the day, you talk about leadership as cause, everything else is effect. At the end of the day, I also believe in, by their fruits you would know them. So let's look at the outputs. Let's look at what is happening. And, and see whether we are being effective in the fighting, of this. And beyond the presidency, who definitely is the back will end with, all the various leaders who are also involved in this, what are they also doing? Because some of the problems, we need local solutions for them. So as we hold the president accountable, a typical example is behind the police station. How is it that behind the police station, there's Galamsey happening? So let's ask ourselves, all the pockets of leaders who are in this community, what are we all doing, into making sure that we can get a resolution to this? So I would leave the answer to that question to all of us. Let's look at what is happening and let's be able to judge based on the output. When you have a country where you have billions of dollars, gold fleeting, when you have a country where, now your water bodies, are turning into the turbidity levels are what you're seeing. when you have a country where you are poisoning yourself. You know that when you are in war and you poison the water of your enemy, it is termed as one of the gravest crimes you can commit. I wonder how people would describe people who actually poison themselves, their own water bodies like the way we're doing. And we are allowing the Chinese to continue to perpetuate, the economic welfare on us. They come in, they are destroying our water bodies. We are seeing them directly, and we need to call the Chinese out. And then they go out there, and then they are now starting to produce cocoa. Our cocoa is under threat, and we are not seeing all of this. And we are all not going to wake up and say, let's do something differently about this. Could you?
Ken, thank you. Thank you very much. Ken Ashigbey is the convener for the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Erastus Asare Donkor, who we heard earlier, is the assisting news editor at Love FM. He's the producer of the latest documentary on Galamsey. It's called Destruction for Gold, and it's coming soon. Ray.
Can we give up? No,
we can't afford to. We
yes.
can't afford to.
Yes, I mean, we can give up relying on state officials to deal with this problem. At that point, I think that ship has sailed a long time, because it's either they are hands and neck deep into the Galamsey in ways that they cannot do it, or they fear for their electoral fortunes, so they really cannot crack the whip anywhere they want to do so. We gave some people specific powers. We gave them responsibility. Is for organized society, law and order is supposed to be regulated. And the people we give that power to, we set up structures. There's a ministry. We had a ministerial committee. Then we now have a deputy ministerial committee. We have a ministry directly in charge. We have a minister, a deputy minister, directly in charge of that particular sector. We have mining districts across this country. Let's not forget that. We have minerals commission. We have mining inspectors for every single mining district in this country. We have DCs, a district. It has security committee. Sometimes there are military and police people on these security committees. We have deployed military men to several places in the Republic of Ghana. Our military, they are very effective. Ask the guys who actually do the international peacekeeping projects.
They're ranked number 5 in the world.
Yes.
For peacekeeping missions.
They are
Ghana.
effective. They are respected all over the world. Are you telling me these men are incompetent in driving out illegal miners in the Republic of Ghana?
No, it's
the military and the security system that's effectively fighting even terrorism. The one that's actually deploying and mapping out the various strategies. These people cannot deal with illegal mining. It is because we have said to ourselves we only fight this fight with our maps. And that in reality and on the ground nothing is happening. And that we deliberately, sometimes when we even choose, we will go there and say, okay, let's do a bit of Kojo's concession and leave some his own. Because that one, he is with us. He can fund the next election. This one, it will help him win the next election. So we know in every community, today, I know that some chiefs have been removed in times past for different reasons. I've not seen anybody in any community saying that we are removing our chief because he's complicit. He's an active participant in this. There are other chiefs anyway who are very great. They are big people. They are qualified to remove other chiefs. I have not heard any of them removing anybody merely because the person is neck deep in this. So at some point, if all these structures from the top straight down to that district level, the lowest level you can find anybody. In any case, assuming the district is not functioning, there are unit committees in every smallest area of this country. The assemblyman that report on several issues, from robbery straight down to even electricity issues. Assemblymen report on them. They do not see illegal mining happening, or they are part of it. So
only Erastus.
Yes.
Sees illegal mining.
Yes. And at some point in the Republic of Ghana, we bought drones. They were displayed. We went out there to see them.
we sent helicopters to go and fire heavy artillery at Shangfang.
Yeah.
We shared videos.
Yes.
In press at information ministry in press.
We
briefings.
put every relevant chief in a room and did conferences.
Oh,
Kumasi,
my God.
Accra.
My God, we put presidency on the line.
Yes. But why? If this was even COVID, even deadly COVID, we didn't devote this much time and energy to dealing with it.
And you see,
I did not get anywhere with it.
Ray, the thing that upsets me is that we are pretending we don't know who is behind. Look, let me tell you, one institution run by the state that we absolutely need to call out is Ghana's embassy in China. Because these Chinese people, they don't fly on broomsticks into this country.
That's true.
They go for visas.
Yeah.
At our embassy in China. When they go, what do they say? Do they say, I'm coming as a tourist?
Even if it's on arrival, we the human beings review them.
Do they say, I'm coming to cook? I'm coming to clean? Or do they say, I'm coming to do Galamsey? So, when they come here and we catch them mining in our water bodies, and we ask them and they say, I'm working for Akonta mining, for example. Do we trace it back? Do we take their visa? And look at what they said in it. Who granted it to them? Who allowed this person in? What questions did they ask him? Did they satisfy themselves that this individual is coming to do what he says he's coming to do? The thing that every country does as a basic rudimentary requirement before allowing someone in. Did we do any of those checks before allowing these saboteurs who are now committing what would be a war crime if someone did it in their country?
And we have right of admission. They are not citizens of this country. We
No.
can prevent them. They do to other people all the time.
So how are these people making it in here? How are they making it? At our borders, how are they crossing? The gold that they mine, where does it go?
Recently,
Who do they sell it to? Why are we pretending this is a difficult problem to solve?
Because we don't want to solve it. So I actually think, and I agree, the solution now lies in the hands of the people who do not feel and are not beneficiaries. Again, not everybody is a beneficiary of this particular canker.
Most of us are not.
Yes.
Most of us are not beneficiaries.
They make money out of it. They pollute your water. They are destroying your future. They are destroying your cocoa. Cocoa is the bedrock of this economy. If we take it out of it, recently we were excited that we have received the cocoa syndicated loan. You get my point? It is the bedrock of it. We are destroying every vegetation. We don't have anything left. It's not as if we can build up any alternative on the table. Our economy is in tatters. So it is not in our interest. It is only in the interest of a few people. Listen, if you're a beneficiary, perhaps you can sit somewhere. But for those of us who are not beneficiaries, are we also complicit?
Well, we are.
Because
by doing
now
nothing.
Water is more expensive because they are buying more chemicals to treat the same water. The guy is giving you cost. And yet, all that we do is, oh, well, something new has come up. Let's talk about it. Very soon, you'll be buying water. You, even the sachet water has become your main drinking water now. You can't buy. How much more being dependent on imported water? They are destroying your DNA. At every level, you should be concerned. It is not a matter of a media coalition. You are also Ghanaian. And some of you are just like me. You don't have the resources. So it is in our interest. And see, why? This is the only country we have. I mean, I'm not a dual citizen of any country. This is the only country I have. And many people are like me. See, half of the country, they won't get the opportunity to go anywhere else. In any case, where are you going to? Togo? Or Burkina Faso? I mean, at some point, it is in our interest to protect our own lands. When the people you are giving the power to will not do it, tell them that it is ultimately you who gave them the power. But we don't care. I mean, you listen to it all. The guy gets the gold money, gets to flaunt it, abuse it. It causes even inflation in your area. You are not a beneficiary. They will take your girlfriend too. But in all of this cumulated, you are not even your child who is yet to be born is going to suffer for a destroyed environment.
So you have no benefit.
Yes.
You have every single negative consequence on you.
Brilliant.
But when we are saying it, then you go and defend them.
I can't
because
get
that's
the point.
your party. What has this got to do with party? What has this got to do with party? They are destroying the very earth you live on.
And we are becoming...
You are standing there complaining that there are no opportunities. This country is being destroyed. You want to travel abroad. The abroad that you want to go to, do you think this is what they did there? They won't even allow you to come there. They won't even allow you to come there with your backward thinking to come and do that. But we are sitting in our own country and letting our leaders do that, and we hail them. We hail them. We go on social media and we defend them. What is there to defend? Which of the leaders in this country right now is worth your defense? How much of your breath should you spend defending the person who is benefiting from your destruction?
And think about it
your
again.
Your children are being born as octopuses, octopi, or say whatever. Your children are being born deformed, and you are defending them.
Kojo, there are countries where the conversation is that they are providing kidney machines for people in their homes. Here, the few that are scattered in the hospitals, you can't pay for it. Even people with legitimate health concerns. But they are destroying your body. They are destroying your kidneys too. It's not as if you are getting money for it, or you are actively participating in it.
Raymond,
so what is your motivation?
Maybe
if you're not complicit.
Maybe we should just stop this conversation before we start calling for anarchy. Because to be perfectly honest, at this point, if we were a nation that had any kind of honor, people would be en masse marching out of their offices in disgrace because they have failed.
Yeah.
You have failed us.
You sit as a DCE in a district, and you cannot stop just illegal mining with all the machines involved and the people that are involved.
Let's stop. Let's stop, okay?